Welcome back, everybody. Here we go. We're so close to finishing a full year in Don't Starve Together. But just as we finish a year in Don't Starve Together, we get closer to kind of where we need to be in order to get even better at the game. If you guys have been following this guide along so far, don't forget to follow me on Twitch TV. My name is All Funny Games. You can find me there. I stream every single day. I play DST every single day. I also play other games as well too, not just Don't Starve Together. If you guys are also interested, I did make a as requested by people that were watching this, they wanted me to make a video about the mods that I use. So in my video, I have a short one that's around 3 to 5 minutes. It explains my server mods and my client mods that I like using, but it also kind of goes in depth. I've also cleared up a lot of my mods that I've used, so I've kind of have a shorter list for my server mods and a shorter list for my client mods, and that's all listed there. So if you're ever curious about what I use, you can find it all there. But let's get in here. Here we go. So we're on day 62. The last we left off, we just got done killing the antlion. The antlion is now dead, so we don't have to worry about our summer base getting all demolished. So what we're going to do here is as summer kind of dwindles down, we're going to make sure that our base is good. We're going to make sure that there's no issues. You know, the phlegmatics are on. They're nice and filled up. And we're going to go into the caves. This is something that a lot of people choose to do early on. They kind of tend to decide, okay, is it worth the hassle of being above ground? So they decide that they want to go actually underground. So that's what we're going to show right now. So if you have been following this far, so we're in here officially now, so everything's good to go. You can leave this base the way it is. I might suggest maybe let's turn on this flingo before we leave. Not that it really matters because we're not going to be in this area. I'm going to explain what that means in a second as well too. Let's take these things, might as well use them while we're here, get ourselves some nice good sanity. Our friend is joining the server, and let's go back home. So okay, I'm just trying to see if there's anything that we needed to bring with us. Desert goggles we don't need anymore, so we can leave pretty much everything that's here. Even our pierogies, we might as well bring those home with us. So in reality, you actually don't need to turn on your phlegmatic or protect your base when you're away from your base. So if you're playing by yourself and you don't want to worry about fires at all, you just have to be away from your base. So what do you mean by that? Like, what does that mean? That means that fire does not spread and Don't Starve Together unless you are actually there. So it's not like off screen, all of a sudden, if I'm standing here, things are catching on fire everywhere else because it's summertime, because that wouldn't make any sense. If that's the way that it was, the whole world would be on fire, right? So within your screen is where fires will spread and fires will start. So that's the reason why people have, if you've ever joined somebody's world, they might have said something to you like, can you please like step away from the base? I don't want fire to spread, or I don't want deer clops to spawn in the base, because 99% of things that happen in Don't Starve Together, they actually happen like that because it has to be within like the screen range. So that's kind of something good to go off of. So technically the phlegmatic won't really matter. I like to have it on because we are playing with somebody else. So hypothetically, like the thing is if you're playing with more than one person though, and you have the phlegmatic off and you're like, hey, I'm off the screen, I don't care about it, it doesn't bother me at all. But then all of a sudden you have a friend who walks over to that area and there's no phlegmatic, and then boom, everything catches up on fire. Then that's where you're gonna have a problem, right? So that's the reason why I always tend to turn the phlegmatics on anyways, because you never really know if somebody's over there. So anyways, that's a little tip for you if you're curious. As always, we kept our 5% suits to refill our phlegmatic. We also kept our log suit here as well too. So now that we're back at home, we're gonna fill up our inventory with everything that we can. Let's put our 5% in there, close our door, go over to the other phlegmatic, put this here, boom, boom, boom. And then let's slowly kind of clean up our base a little bit. So let's put our pierogies in the fridge, and we're gonna need to pre-make quite a few things. Now, people always ask, okay, why, like, why not eat the stale food? I mean, there's really no reason not to, other than you do tend to lose a little bit of, you can tend to lose a little bit of sanity if it's really, really stale. But overall, don't really worry about eating stale food. It's not horrible. It's when it's in the red that it really matters. Like these drumsticks and stuff, that's when it starts to become a problem. Okay, so we don't need our log suits anymore, so let's go ahead and drop them off at our beautiful little pile that we started making. So we got our little pile here with all of our good stuff. We can drop off some extra things. And what we're going to start to do now is we're going to start to pre-craft things as we get ourselves ready for the caves. So this far, if you have said, you know what, I don't care about the above ground. I want to focus on strictly what the caves have to offer me during summertime, because I don't want to be above ground at all. This is a part that you want to pay attention to, because this is going to get you kind of started into how to have cave life and how to survive underground, just in case you don't want to deal with the heat. So I'm going to my tent right now to regain my sanity. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I have my tent, so why not do that? So while we're inside the tent, I'll go over and explain a few things of what we're going to do. We're going to start making everything that you see in our base. We're going to kind of almost replicate, not entirely everything, because we don't want to bring our berry bushes down and all that stuff. But we want to take the greater majority of things. Maybe a few crock pots, maybe a few chests. We don't need a fling-o-matic. So if you trust people in your world, technically, you do not need a fling-o-matic because there's no way of fires to actually appear downstairs. However, if you have an accident where you accidentally set something on fire with a torch, well, that's why sometimes it's always good to have a fling-o-matic around, just in case somebody does mess up and cause that to happen. Then you're actually fully protected. You don't have to worry about that. That's like a last resort. I don't think I'm gonna worry about that when we go downstairs. If I can make a fling-o-matic, I'll make an extra one. If I can't, it's not a huge problem. I'm not really worried about it that much. So just kind of something to think about, because I've seen beautiful downstairs downstairs bases where they look awesome, everything's ready to go. They're like, okay, this is going to be where I live. All of a sudden they get down there, somebody accidentally starts catching something on fire, whether they're trying to set something on fire to make ashes or whatnot, and then boom, they have a bunch of their whole base is in flames. So it's kind of like a good idea to have it, but at the same time you don't really have to. Okay, so let's wake up. Let's make sure that we eat some of the food here. Like I said, a lot of our stuff is starting to go bad, so we gotta really cook this stuff up. Let's make ourselves a nice meaty stew. Once again, this, and then you can even use 2 frog legs to make it 3 meat value if you really want to. And we're starting to overheat, so what do? We go to our fridge that has our extra thermal stones, and we're gonna swap them out. We're not gonna really need a thermal stone soon as well too, so that's gonna be really nice to be in the caves and have that. Before we go down, let's quickly pick up more resources. Oops, I should grab my food before I start doing that. Grab and refill your resources. Try to fill up on rocks. Try to fill up on grass. Anything that you can that you're going to need. Let's grab things like... you know what? Let's just focus on our main supply first. So let's go with rocks. Let's bring some of the gold with us. We have lots of twigs. Even if we bring extra, it's not going to really bother us at all. Let's bring down these pine cones with us and bring some grass. Let's bring some rot with us. Why not? And we don't really need any berries right now. So we have rocks, blah, 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 blah. We don't have a lot, but that's okay. This is not a huge problem. Okay, and let's sit here and start imagining that we're making a base below ground. Okay, so what do we need first? We got a fire pit. Check. Okay, cool. We don't need an endothermic fire pit. We're not going to need that because we're not going to overheat in the caves. That's a bonus about the caves as well too, is it keeps you nice and cool. Second, we're going to have to get ready to make ourselves a crock pot. That's why I'm talking about needing some more rocks. I'm not going to really worry about getting rocks right now. We're not really next to any rocks, honestly, so let's just leave that be. When we're in the caves, we'll try to find some. Because we're going to want to make ourselves a crock pot. I don't believe we have any gears. I'm not too sure if we do. So gears might be a problem because we don't have a way of making another one. I was looking to see if we had one. It doesn't look like we have a gear. So making a fridge downstairs might be a problem as well too. But as you can see, most of our stuff is beginning to rot here anyways. So sooner or later, we might be able to smash up one of these fridges and bring it downstairs. That's a last resort. If you have a gear, if you have one, I would suggest pre-making one. So we're going to make that downstairs. Making the alchemy machine as well too is what we're going to need to do as well too, which requires more rocks and the gold that we have. So for now, I'm going to actually go chop down a few trees. And see if we can get that started. And once again, pick up any pine cones because we're going to bring these all downstairs in the basement when we can. We only have 8 days left of summer, so we're getting there. Honestly, the rest of summer does not really have to be rushed. You can take your time. You have your fling-o-matic. As long as your character is not overheating, you're more than happy to continue on doing what you do. I think that, like, all in all, like, the rest of summer is basically just pretty easy going. There's not like there's going to be something else attacking you. I think I left a axe at the base. Nope, that was a pickaxe. Okay, so let's make another. We're gonna need a golden luxury axe anyways, so let's go ahead and make that and pick up some more wood. So we need about maybe 2 stacks of wood, and then we can continue on going downstairs to kind of finalize our base in the basement. I always call it the basement. I don't really call it the caves that much, but I mean, just so I don't confuse you, I'll call it the caves. We have our logs over here that we're using for endothermic fire pit and our regular fire pit. Let's just leave those there. We always want to make sure that we have them for emergencies. As you can see, we have rotten eggs on the ground there as well too from when the pangolins were around. Those are great to keep. So if you guys want to take those, you can use those for rot also. Something that, it's always wise to have. Now, if you're wondering something else as well too, is you can actually, if you're using any of the mods that I had before, you can press F4, which will automatically pick up items on the ground. And that'll actually like auto pick up any items that you see. So that way you don't have to like manually pick them up. I mean, that's if you're using the mods and stuff like that as well too, but I wouldn't really suggest that if you're not, because don't really worry about that too much. We have enough to make the alchemy machine, so that's kind of all I really want to do. I want to get the alchemy machine done. I want to get the fire pit in the basement. So let's head over there right now. So there we go. Okay, so we have lots of pine cones. We have an okay amount of logs, not too many. Let's find a nice spot to go downstairs. So now, where do we want to find where is the closest area to the caves? Right here. Okay, so once again, if you guys are trying to locate a zone to go into the caves, you want to make sure that you don't, let's stop this wildfire from burning down our base. You don't want to have something too close to your main base. That way you don't open it up and have a bunch of bats attacking you. Because as soon as you open up the caves, there is no way of closing them up. I've mentioned in the past to Clay that I wish that they would eventually make some sort of cool device like a cork or something that could go over top of the hole of the cave. So then that way, if anything did happen where you accidentally did that and you wanted to close it back up, you could. But for now, that doesn't exist. So yeah, you want to make sure that once you open that up, it's open forever. It's not going to be able to be closed again. So just be cautious about that you don't want to have bats in your main base attacking you every time you turn around. Okay, so let's go downstairs. Let's get ourselves ready for a little base. Okay, so if you're here for the first time looking at this and you're like, okay, finally they're getting to the point where the caves are here. This is what I came here for. I don't really like being above ground. Well, here we go. So in the caves, you're going to see multiple different areas. You're going to see multiple different biomes. We've already kind of explored a little bit. You see the blue mushroom forest. There's a green mushroom and there's a red mushroom forest. The best one to be next to is a blue mushroom forest because it offers us everything that we need without going too in depth with it. I'm not going to talk too much about it. The other thing you want to do, don't base next to these bunnies. I know that there's already a fire pit already here, but you want to be as far away from the bunnies as you can, because if those bunnies come close to you and you have any meat on you, you're going to be asking for a world of pain. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over to the other side here, and this is where we're going to be building our base. If the bunnies weren't there, I would say that's okay, because might as well not relocate because we're right next to a little forest, but it's not that much of a walk away to remake our little base over here. So let's do it a little bit closer to the portal, but not extra close. All right, so now everything that we've pre-made before, we're going to start making it again. We're obviously not going to make or waste our resources on making this science machine, but I want to go out and get a bunch of things while we're down here. So we're going to use our trusty miner hat in order to do that. Let's gather our light bulbs, which is awesome. That's another reason why living in the caves is so good, because you obviously have endless supplies of light bulbs while you're down here. All right, so now we're nice and filled up. Let's grab our walking cane and let's be very careful as we head out. So as we continue on, we're looking for rocks. We're also looking for potentially grabbing some of the blue mushrooms that we see here as well too. So if you do come across these mushrooms, grab as many of them as you can. They're great resources while you're walking around to actually heal your character up on the go. The downfall is that they do hurt your sanity quite a bit as well too. Once again, I'm not going to go too deep into how things are in the caves, because I really want you to focus on mainly just surviving an entire year. If I were to go off the charts and start talking about all the different bosses that are downstairs in the caves, you might end up getting confused as to what I'm talking about and not so much focus on like just basic survivability. Okay, so we have a little bit of stack of blue caps. Let's continue to get more because why not? Like we have some time before we do this. Now, blue caps are only available at nighttime. So above ground right now, it is nighttime, and that's why these blue caps are available, and they're actually like above ground. As soon as daytime hits, these blue caps will go away. They'll go back down underneath, and you won't be able to get them until the next morning. So here they go. They're about to fall down. There they go. And there they go. Okay, so they're all down. You can still dig them up as well too if you really wanted to, but that's something that I would really not recommend. Okay, so let's head over to see if we can find any rocks. I don't know if this biome connects to any rock biome. Now, be careful if you are decided to venture out. I don't really suggest venturing too far out in the caves, but if you decide to kind of copy what I'm doing right now, that's entirely up to you. Now, what is this? This is an area for a future boss that's known as a toadstool, so I wouldn't really worry about this area either, but this area offers us something awesome. It offers us rocks. So that's what we came here for, so let's grab some rocks. We're gonna mine up these things. We only really need a handful, as I mentioned before, but if you guys get a chance to, get a chance to be out here and grab some rocks, might as well do so. If you do end up in a cave entrance that is not like this, or you end up getting into an area that's surrounded by spiders, obviously you want to run out of there and find a different a different entrance into the caves that offers something a little bit more safe of an entry, because you don't want to be walking into the caves every time trying to like fight spiders as you come down here. So I would really suggest not doing that. Okay, oops, sorry, I forgot to put my miner hat on. So we have our rocks. I'll get a little bit more to just top ourselves off, because why not? And also I don't really have to worry about anything attacking me right now because nothing is inside this biome. Another cool thing is about these underground ponds that you see here. Like I said, I don't like going too deep into everything, but you can make fishing rods and you can fish for eels, which you can then turn into gold by trading them into the Pig King as well too. But like I said, that's something that's down the road that you don't really have to worry about right now. Okay, so we got our rocks. Before we move any further, let's make sure that we have everything we need. So we got our alchemy machine. So let's go ahead and make everything we need. So we're gonna make 4 boards. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna make 4 cut stones. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna make 2 electrical doodads with the extra gold that we have. Hold the doodads in your hand if your inventory is full, and make the alchemy machine. Boom, we have the alchemy machine made. We are low on logs, which is okay, because we obviously can get a ton of logs from chopping down the blue mushrooms. And that's obviously the reason why we're so close to the blue mush trees, is they not only give us logs, but they also give us food. And we're gonna be able to show you how easy it is to survive off blue mushrooms exclusively here in just 1 second. So as we're down in the caves, we don't have to worry about anything, except if you are down here and you have not killed, and you have decided that you do not want to kill the antlion, you're going to have a problem, because the antlion can still technically get you even though you're in the caves. So when the antlion hits and you're in the caves, what happens is cave-in starts, and it starts to make a loud rumble. This is also a good spot to actually base as well too. I wouldn't have made myself a little base over there, but that's okay. Actually, you know what? Kind of like this area. I kind of like this area better. So I've only really made a fire pit. So let's remake a new one over here, because I like this area. It looks a lot nicer, and also has grass and stuff near us too. Okay, so yeah, so if the antlion is there and you have left it alive, it's going to make a cave in. Your character's going to say, I hear a rumble, and you're going to start to notice that your screen begins to shake. And at that point, what you want to do is you want to run far enough away from your base and continue to just run. Because as soon as the rocks fall from the top, they will hurt you very much. And the bonus about them falling, though, is they do give you different things. Like they'll drop a mole worm. They'll drop basically a bunch of rocks that you can then harvest for yourself as well too. So just be careful with that, though, because you obviously don't want to die in the caves from that. So that's basically what'll happen. Now, hound waves in the caves. that's the thing that I'm hoping that'll happen here very shortly. It really should. When hound waves happen in the caves, you obviously do not get hounds. You get something called depth worms. And what they are they're giant worms with basically giant teeth, and they'll come and attack you. And those I can show you how to kite on another time. But right now, we're just going to finish up our little base that we made. Okay, so we have our fire pit, we have our alchemy machine. We want to make sure that we try to get ourselves making stuff for a crock pot, so we still need some more rocks, and we need to get some charcoal. I would have had enough rocks, but I ended up making an extra fire pit. So there you go. So now we're kind of in the part where we've gotten down in the caves, we're ready to go. One other thing I want to show you real fast is how to survive off blue caps. Just blue caps by themselves, nothing else. All right, so we have our fire pit here. And with our fire pit, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna top it off. So I'm gonna use some twigs because I have a lot of that. And we're gonna cook half of our, so we say we have 20 blue caps. Cut them in half, make 2 stacks of them, and take the higher stack number, or if they're the same, that's okay. Take the higher stack number, leave yourself with maybe 2 extra from the higher stack, and add that to the lower stack. And what you're gonna do is if your HP is very low, or your hunger is very low, you're gonna eat the blue caps. So that's gonna increase your hunger and increase your HP as well too. It increases your HP by a decent amount as well too. Then you're gonna take the lower stack and you're gonna eat the cooked ones. What that's gonna do is it's gonna basically take your sanity and it's gonna move your sanity up from like just cooking a blue cap. So that's why you want to have a double. So it takes about 20 or so cooked blue caps in order to basically restore your sanity. It also will reduce your HP from doing that a little bit, not a lot, but yeah, so that's basically how you survive off of just blue caps. It's not an ideal situation, but it is something that you can do if you really want to. We also have our resources for next time. We have our pine cones still here. We have our charcoal that we're getting ready. So let's go ahead and drop these off here because we're going to be planting these next time. And we're going to be working on basically our underground base. So now that we're down here, we have our alchemy machine, which is going to help us in case we have not pre-crafted anything. And then we're also basically just going to start to live down here for the next few days. So that way, if you have decided that you want to live in the caves officially and you want to avoid the above ground, you can kind of follow this step of the way, and hopefully this will help you survive down here as well too. All right, so that is it for this little entrance into the caves. In the next episode, we're going to be showing you how to continue on through the caves and how to basically survive against the depth worms, anything else that'll come your way in the caves. So we will see you guys in the next episode, and thanks again for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch TV, and remember that if things fall from the caves, don't let them fall in your head. But remember that I do stream every single day. I also like to release other YouTube videos. If there's anything specific that you think I'm missing, please remember to comment about it and let me know, so then that way I can include it in the next video. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying making them a lot, so I will see you guys in the next one.